Alright guys, today we're going to be taking the valve cover off and cleaning it up. What I've done so far is I've removed all the coil packs from these holes. And then I started removing all these bolts. There's 5 of them. I removed those. I took this breather hose off and took the oil cap off and took the throttle cable mount off, and then all you got to do is just lift it up. So there it is. Yeah, I'm just gonna put you guys on a stand and start cleaning the manifold. The cleaner I'm using is just orange cleaner degreaser. It's the oil eater. It seemed to work pretty good on the manifold. You can pick this stuff up at like Walmart or Advanced, but it's pretty much just the same as degreaser. Like brakes cleaner. Brakes cleaner might work a little better, but I don't have any right now. So I'm just going to use this Scotch-Brite pad, wire brush, whatever. I'll show you what I do, and we'll see how it works. Alright, so now that we've got it all clean, I am going to just start taping off all the holes and everything that I don't want to paint over. I obviously don't want to get paint inside. So I'm just going to start taping stuff off, and then we'll go ahead and prime it.
You can try all you want, but you can't change me. I am stronger than you could ever hope to be. You don't deceive me. I see through some screens. Blow away your
Here's what I got. I taped everything off. I covered the sides with some cardboard. And now I am just going to use some primer. Some people don't use primer. I'm not sure why. I figured I would just use the security of it, make sure everything sticks better, but I'm using VHT flame-proof primer. Nothing special, just something I had laying around the garage. I would recommend using the heat paint. But yeah, that's what I'm using. So I'm gonna add 3 coats. It says on the can add like 2 light ones, and then the last one be a heavy one. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here's one coat. I actually probably went a little heavy on the first coat, but now we're gonna wait. Now we're gonna wait 5 minutes, do it again, wait another 5 minutes, do it again, and I'll go ahead and show you guys the finished product. Came out pretty good. That should give the wrinkle paint a good base to stick to, and it should last a while. So I'm gonna let it sit today because I don't have the paint yet. I think you're supposed to let it sit like 24 hours or something. But I'm gonna let it sit today, and I'll get back with you guys tomorrow, which will be in like 2 seconds with the wrinkle paint. I finally got the wrinkle red. My Advance did not have wrinkle red, so I had to order this. They had wrinkle black though, which I'm gonna do for the intake manifold. But I got the wrinkle red. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on. We got the primed valve cover here. I went ahead and sanded down the letters to make it easier to sand down the wrinkle red off, to make it easier to sand the wrinkle red off once that's painted. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe it off again real good, and then we'll go ahead and paint it. Now they say to go side to side for one coat, up and down for one coat, and then diagonal for one coat, and let it sit 10 minutes in between each one. And then after I'm gonna lay them on pretty thick, and then after I do all that, I'm going to use a heat gun and go over it to make the wrinkles really pop. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. There's one coat. For the next 2 coats, I'll probably go a little bit heavier on the whole thing, just so my wrinkles are real thick. But it's kind of hard to hit everything, making sure you go at those angles. So it lays on pretty easy, but I missed some spots. But my next 2 coats I'll make a lot thicker. All right, so that was the last coat. Now I'm gonna use a heat gun and kind of speed up the curing process and just make sure it wrinkles. It doesn't say to do this. I've seen other people do it, so I'm gonna do it. Okay, so I just used a heat gun for a little while. I really just wanted to make sure the wrinkles were gonna come out, because I've never used wrinkle paint before. But it says to let it dry for 24 hours and then let it cure for 48 hours before you go back to installing whatever it is you're doing. So I'm just gonna wait till tomorrow. Then I'm gonna sand down the letters to make those look metal again. And then I'll probably go ahead and put it back in tomorrow. But here's what she looks like. She looks real good. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and skip ahead until tomorrow. Okay, so I actually started on the valve cover and forgot to start filming. But so the wrinkle came out good. If I did it again, I probably wouldn't use a heat gun and I would let it just sit, because I didn't use the heat gun evenly across the whole thing and parts of it are still kind of smooth. So if I were to do it again, I would not use a heat gun, or if I did, I'd use it consistently, which I kind of knew that, but I didn't pay any attention to it because I thought it would kind of still come out. But anyway, now I am removing the paint off the Honda letters on it. And all I did was tape around it real good. I just taped around it so when I'm sanding it, I don't nick the paint anywhere else, because the paint is actually still really soft. I might be doing this too early, but I'm ready to put it back in the car, so I'm rushing it. But anyway, I took a razor blade and scratched off the majority of the paint on it. That's why it's kind of silver now. But now I'm just going to take sandpaper and start to go over it and take all the paint off. So it looks like it's unpainted. Okay, so I just peeled the tape off and it looks pretty good. I actually just recorded all this, but I forgot to press record again. But anyway, here's what it looks like. It looks good. It is dirty in there. I'll take some water and a rag or something and try to clean that out. But let's go ahead and throw it in the car and show you what it looks like. We got it back on. I got it all torqued down and it looks pretty good. Well, it looks really good, especially compared to the rest of the car. So this is a 98 Civic that's been sitting there for who knows how long. Nothing done to the engine bay, but here it is. Don't worry about that intake. That's temporary. But here it is. Came out looking real good. But all I did was torque down these bolts to a good estimate, and I just did a crisscross pattern, and I'm about to start it and see if anything leaks. But yeah, so that there is how you paint your valve cover. I want to let you guys know that I just painted my intake manifold, and I am using the heat gun, but I'm using it on a little bit hotter of a power, and I'm going along it a lot more evenly than I did the valve cover, and it's turning out super good. So I said I wasn't going to use the heat gun, but I am, and it's looking good. So if you're doing this, don't be afraid to use the heat gun. But here it is. She's looking good. I just wanted to show you guys that, because I said I wasn't going to use the heat gun, and I kind of made it sound like it was a bad idea, but this is coming out super good.